Yo, what up, internet? Welcome to Bricks and Beer, episode 26? Sure, I think this is 26. Yeah, fucking welcome back. I'm making a lot of noise. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a little echoey, I think. Probably more echoey than normal, so apologies in advance. Like always, if you guys want to watch the other ones, you can click a link. There'll be a floating annotation, maybe, somewhere there. You can click an empty drawer. Yeah, so it's been a while. This isn't even like really a real episode in my mind. This is more sort of just like a dispatch from the new pad. I moved, so I got a new wall Lego. It's pretty fucking rad, right? Yeah, my life is awesome right now. So yeah, it's been kind of crazy, like just moving and work and all this other bullshit's been happening. So I've just like been doing shit constantly. My Flickr feed and Instagram is like kind of boring, but then kind of interesting in my mind because it's like I'm not actually building anything. So I'm gonna be totally on Front Street with you guys. No new build content at all in this episode. That sucks. I understand. Just fucking peace out. Cut out now. If you want to hear me ramble about moving and sorting Lego and various other bullshit, stay tuned. So yeah, before we even like jump into all the moving talk and all that, let's talk about the beer. Ballast Point, hometown, San Diego. It's legit. The Sculpin is sort of like I feel like if you're a hipster beer nerd, the Sculpin is the IPA. It's like Arrogant Bastard used to be the like I'm a cool beer nerd, but now it's all about Sculpin. So they make a grapefruit Sculpin, which I love. This is the pineapple. Yeah, I got this at my housewarming party, which we had. I moved. I mentioned that. So we had people over, and because I'm me, and my wife's my wife, people brought us two things, which are like the fucking best housewarming like presents ever. I would say the clutch move is you bring one of each. You bring a plant, and you bring beer or booze. Booze in general is always good, but particularly for me, beer. So like we have multiple fridges now, which is wild. And they're all full of beer, and it's all like amazing beer, and people brought like fucking legit like. I don't know, I feel like there's a gangster move where you roll in, you bring a 6-pack, and granted it's only 6, because like back in the day, when you were a kid, you used to bring like 30, 18, 12. It was about quantity over quality. Now, in my mid-30s, it's a little more about quality. So this is a fucking quality beer, Pineapple Sculpin. It's fucking great. You should have some. I think it's kind of hard to get, because I haven't seen Pineapple Sculpin in my neck of the woods, which is not far from where this comes from. Oh, it's great. It's good. It's good. Yeah, so it's been a while. Like, fucking moving sucks, right? Like, it always sucks, but it's kind of cool because you get to start from fresh. And in particular, I got to massively upgrade. So I'm not going to tell you too much like, you know, my social security number or like where I live or anything like that. But the old pad, I guess I should explain this right now. I'm not sitting on a chair. There's some like temporary furniture in here, which is a foldable, very loud, echoey folding table made by Lifetime. It's a good name, I guess, if you wanted to throw this table like off a cliff. Probably survive, so that's a good name for it. This is my temporary build table, and the reason why this is here is because I needed a table, because I was going crazy, because I now have a dedicated Lego room, and I didn't have a table. Hence, the way I sold my wife on this was, honey, we need a beer pong table, right? That could like fold up, that we could store in the garage. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's cheap, right? Like, we'll just get a plastic one, it'll be good, weatherproof. Temporarily in the Lego room until I figure out the fucking awesome table setup. Right? It's a pro move, boys. Take note. Anyway, yeah, so it's like, it's wild. Like, we used to live in a tiny place. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. I had a gigantic wall of Lego, which was in my living room, which is a ridiculous place to put your giant wall of Lego. And I mean, the thing is though, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm trying to keep this on the humble, but I'm so living the dream right now. It's hard. It's really hard because it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, this wall of Lego alone behind me is ridiculous. So let's just put this in context. I'll talk to a little bit about like the new setup. I'm not going to show you too much beyond just like what you see in this frame, because it's not quite there. I can talk about aspirations and where it's going to go. Oh, so anyway, temporary furniture. Going back to the other story. So beer pong table, dirty yoga ball. I'm sitting on like a, I'll just show you. It's a giant, ridiculous, dirty yellow yoga ball. So this is my temporary chair for tonight. And you know what? I've been sorting Lego like a motherfucker, and the yoga ball is not bad. There's no back support, which blows. And this table height sucks. But what are you gonna do? Who am I to complain? So anyway, lived in a tiny place. We moved to a new house. This house is gigantic in comparison. And I now have like the ultimate Lego nerd man cave awesomeness, which you see before you. It's really weird. It's echoey because this room is big. There's hardwood floors, and there's not a lot of furniture in here yet. It's a big plastic ABS wall, and some like nonsense over there, and nonsense over there, and there, and everywhere. But you know, it's fairly empty for the time being. It will soon be probably overly full, which will be a problem. So yeah, so my old wall was 7 containers wide by 12 drawers tall. This is now 8 by 15, which means I gained a significant amount of drawers, which was like the ultimate goal. The other thing about this is that my old wall was like multiple different types of plastic drawer Tupperware bullshit loosely stacked on top of each other. So I had like Sterilite. These are Iris USA, America. Go check it out. I think it's Iris-USA. Just look up Irish drawers. They'll come up. The coolest thing about this though is like I got to take advantage of the multitude of experience that I have with other people's Lego rooms, both existing and people moving collections and starting fresh. So shout out to Gary and Keith Goldman, because like those two set the standard, literally the gold standard. There's a bunch of other dudes in there. There's Bryce and Brandon and Jassim and like all these other dudes. Shout out to the homie Ryan. Happy belated birthday, twin. So anyway, there's all these dudes, and like I saw their setups as I was kind of coming up, and I was developing a collection, and then obviously before I moved. But Keith Goldman had the classiest Lego room ever, and I've talked about it before, but it had like a big central table, and everything was like really well done. It just felt functional and classy and awesome. And then Gary had the most functional setup, because his was basically like he had been working at Legoland, so he set up everything exactly as they do at Legoland, which is just like majority of drawers. There's smaller drawers. He had a dedicated build space, and then like rack shelving that he could move out of the way of a closet that was his bulk overflow closet. And like that was mind-blowing, because like number one, it was the cleanest. Both of those dudes, I think part of me, I'm acknowledging this with a lot more, just embracing it, I guess, that I'm just fully fucking OCD as fuck. Like, it just is what it is. I'm a weirdo. I sort Lego into drawers. There's nothing like already feeling like you're weird as shit for building with children's toys, your little spaceships and whatnot. But then when you're just basically being like a Coinstar machine, like fucking splitting drawers, yeah, it comes to very, very, it's just apparent. You just can't deny it. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? But at the same time, you're like, this needs to happen. This so needs to happen. And I like to couch all of my weird OCD-ness in like efficiency and like I'll build more and it will be more functional and I'm keeping my palette clean and my studio clean and shit. So the cleanliness of those two dudes' setups appealed to me a lot. And then I got to see something really cool, which was the homie Brahm, Dr. Brahm, shout out to you. He was like, yeah, I'm moving to a new setup. What are your drawers? Because he saw the wall, and the wall was mostly these iris drawers. And then he was like, you know, though, you can just pry the lids off, and they're all modular, and you can just stack them however high you fucking want. And I was like, I did kind of know that, and it just never occurred to me to do it, because I had, like, multiple styles. So they all just kind of, and I was, you know, I was, like, in this tiny apartment, and it was, like, it was already kind of ridiculous where you're like buying more stacks of Tupperware drawers to keep your toys in, and you're like, man, there's no subtle way to add stacks. Like it's like you're annexing at least 1 square foot, if not more, by I don't know, a visual 7-foot tower. Like it's not 7 feet, but you know it's big. It's obvious. So I never really, like, planned that wall. It just sort of happened. So this one I got to plan. And Brahm was like, dude, do the iris thing. Sign up. That is number one. Like, so if you're going to do this, and I suggest you do this, because I think this is the best way to sort. Sign up for iris. They'll send you an email with, like, a discount code, and then you wait for whatever bullshit sale. And they will non-stop fucking emailing you. So there's discounts galore. You buy the shit, they ship it direct to you, which is rad, because I have a small car, and I bought 10 of these 6-drawer things. There's more beyond the yoga ball. It goes to the floor, which I guess you can't see. And that's a pleasant noise. So there you go. Large drawers on the bottom, and then technically it's 15 high. The reason for the 15 high mark is that this drawer, this top one, number 15, it's basically my eye line, and I can see the back of the drawer while it's open and still within the thing. So when, you know, you pull the drawers out, you can see in the back. Any higher, it gets ridiculous. The old place also had all the small drawers sitting on top of all this bullshit. That sucked. This is not even. It's somewhat more even here than it was in the old place, but it's just the nature of like the floor is kind of slopey and fucked up and shit, and the small drawers on top sucked. So that's part of the reason why I'm not showing you this whole setup, is because over here is like the small drawers I had plus a bunch of empty ones, which are still to be dealt with. And what I mean by dealt with is I had a plan when I came into this room. I like quite literally had a plan. I like scoped the house out. I was like, this is the place we're getting, and this is why. And like, the secret master nerd cave plan happened, right? So I was like, bam! I measured the wall. I figured out how many of these motherfuckers I could fit in here. I measured that wall. I figured out like what I could do on that side. Don't have the shelving for the drawers on that side yet. It's coming, but I'm just waiting for the perfect thing. Like I kind of feel like I'm in a good groove right now. Like everything is mostly set up. So like it's actually functional. Like I can start building. I was going to start building tonight, but instead I decided to talk to you motherfuckers on the internet. Cheers? Sure. Yeah. So anyway, being the weirdo that I am, I ordered all these drawers. And I didn't order these drawers like in advance of moving here. I like needed to move and take measurements and be the OCD nerd that I am. And then I ordered the drawers. And like what would normally happen at the old pad when I bought a new setup, it's like I'd get a new drawer thing, and then I would just look at whatever needed to be like dealt with, because everything is always over capacity. And I'd just be like, okay, that's going here or whatever. And you just fuck around and, you know, you organically mix and match. It took like a week to get the drawers. So I did this. This is the mark of a crazy person. You can see this on my Flickr. This is roughly this. Um, the reason why I did this is that I ordered the amount of drawers to fit the wall, so I knew how many empty drawers I had, but I didn't know what to do with them, per se. Put Lego in them, obviously, but like how? So my sorting philosophy comes down to, and people ask about this, and I guess this is the sorting episode, you can do two things, right? You can do part, or you can do color. Now, I'm kind of the school that you should do part. A lot of people see this, and they're like, well, you do color. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but here's the deal. So, like, over here, you see some red, right? This is not just red. This is red 1x2 brick. No, it's 1x brick. This is 2x brick. All red. Part and color. This is straight like the dream plan, right? It's, you know where all the parts are, and you know where all the colors are, all at once. It's like, bam. Like, I need a red 1x2. It's in that fucking drawer right there. Super easy. Or I need to build a red wall out of 1x brick. Start there. So it helps. It's like, that's the cleanest, right? Because the goal is that basically I want to have a giant computer system where I go like, computer, I need this many parts of this, and it can just dispense it. But because I live in a finite resource world, this is what I get. So, for the most part, pun not intended, I do by part. So like, this is cylinders, 2 wide cylinder bricks. This is 2 wide cylinder plates. These 2 drawers used to be 1. It was full of shit. You couldn't pull this out. Look at how sexy and clean and amazing. Part of this is their new drawers, so they're like fresh from the factory. Like, it's smooth like butter. It's like eels fucking. It's amazing. Anyway, so that's why I did this, right? Because this is how all of the splitterino works. And then all of this is this bullshit overflow stuff that I have now. Which means I have more drawers than this. There's like overflow. Like, there's straight up a closet over there with stacks of black plastic Lego holding drawers. Some of which have Lego. Some of which are just empty. Just hanging out. Which is rad. Because, like, that is the #1 thing that I learned from fucking the homie Bruce Lowell. I saw him redo his whole setup. And he's sort of a professional. Like, he's legitimately a professional. And he went, I added all these drawers. I built custom shelving. Everything is, like, in his garage. Custom built. And, oh, by the way, 25% of it, empty. Just waiting. Because that's the albatross of the hobby. Every time you get something new, you fucking remax your drawer, and then you gotta overflow. So this is sort of like where this chart comes into play. Everything that was maxed is split. And you sort of have to split a little bit. Sometimes it makes sense. Bricks, plates, easy. Other ones are a little weirder. Like my tan. This is very obviously tan. Not sorted at all. It's just 3 drawers of tan. Just like I got 6 drawers of dark red. Other ones, 8 wide dishes and above. 6 wide dishes. Used to be 1 drawer. So, the goal being that, like, let's say I get so many fucking 8 wide X-Quad dishes that this drawer becomes full. At that point, I'll split this drawer by color, because that makes the most sense to me. But then there's other things, like I had click hinges. I split my click hinges into click bricks, and then click every motherfucking thing else. So it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do for you. And I feel like the #1 thing is, like, it's just gotta be logical and sensible, and it's gotta make sense to you. And a lot of people look at my shit and they're like, man, you're way less granular. Because I think the mistake most AFOLs make is the Acromills drawers. The drawers that are about that big, and you get a thing that's like this thing, and it's got 20 drawers in it. And you're going to sort every part. you're going to sort your blue lightsaber bars in one drawer, and then your green lightsaber bars next to it. And that would be awesome if you had 1,000,000 drawers, and if you had a crazy fucking head that could manage a map that was 5,000 times this big. But I can't do that. That doesn't work for me at all. And a lot of the time, like, I'm building something lime. So I go to the lime drawer. You know why I have a lime drawer? Because that's all the lime I have. There, sure. That's it. So, like, the rare color thing, I sort of, like, smashed together. So I've got a pink-purple pastel drawer right there. Bright light orange, orange, gold, silver. Like, sort of rarish colors, sure. And, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's easier for me to manage that than it is to manage, like, a drawer of all black parts. And then all of the small shit, this is where kind of this fails, because I'd really like to show you the other wall. I'll show you the drawer size in comparison. So, like, this is a drawer unit on the other wall. It's much smaller. And, like, this is all the Technic bushings. It's all the bushings. So it makes a little bit more sense for me to, like, that is sort of my acro mills. That's as small as I get outside of super, super specialized pieces. And I used to have all these, like, flat tackle box things. And they're done. They're done. The closest thing I get is I have 2 stacks of these. And they sit in, like, a frame that's super easy to pull out. And then this is all parts. So this is, like, robot arms and robot claws and various space guns and, like, very, very specialized pieces. So, like, this makes sense, but you don't want your entire collection like this, because this is crazy talk for your entire collection. At least, you know, my personal philosophy. Everybody does their things differently. So, I don't know. I guess that's fucking it about sorting. You do you. Try to make it work. Maximize your space. Yeah, I mean, just work with what you got. Like, I started with, like, a tiny amount of Lego in, like, the first sorting thing I ever got. My neighbor gave me this when I was, like, 8. It was like a 4-drawer wood chest of drawers, but for, like, a little kid. It was, like, yay big. And I cut cardboard inserts, and I taped cardboard inserts in so I could, like, pre-sort the drawers. Sucked. Tape. Just parts stick to it. Shitty little kid engineering. Yeah, so from there to here. From the bottom to the top. Maybe. Anyway, so moving. Moving sucks. Secret of moving Lego? Lots of fucking tape. Before I get out of here, I do want to talk a little bit about Brick Can. Huge shout out to the homie Aaron. Like, bro, it was fucking amazing. There was a bunch of shit. Like, number one, the last episode, I think is my favorite episode of this show ever, period. And it was great. My favorite part, if you guys haven't watched it, just go back and watch it. Brom didn't want to be on camera. Brom, like, I asked Brom before we did the episode. He was like, no, I wouldn't have anything to say. Watch Brom crawl under a desk. Somebody will link to it. You just watch it. It's hilarious. Anyway, so I had a fucking great time. 2 things that I want to talk about that we did not touch on in the episode because it happened either, the next day. So later that night, we went out and had a good time. And the next day, I felt like fucking garbage. And I woke up, and I was signed up for the team speed build. I didn't sign up. Fucking Remy signed me up. Remy signed me, Gary, and Brom, and who was the 4th person? There was somebody else that bailed. So it was like, sure, yeah, okay. So it's Brom and Remy, and they're like, you and Gary need to do it. And I'm like, dude, I'm out. Like, I'm hungover as fuck. Like, and nobody knows where Gary is. So I guess that was the 4th. There's no mystery 5th person. No 5th Ninja Turtle. So anyway, like, Gary, the only time we heard from Gary was I got a text message at 12:45 a.m. that night that said, "Hey bro, are you in town or what?" And that was it. And then I responded back, I'm like, nobody knows where Gary went. It's Gary. So anyway, I'm fucking dying, and Brahm's wife and his sister are there. Remy has his baby, and they're like, "Call Morrow, we need the fourth." So I call Morrow, and he's like, "Dude, I'm on my way." And I'm like, I'm gonna be a fucking detriment to the team. Like, this is gonna suck. Like, guys, really, like, I'll step up if you need me to step up. And they're like, "Dude, you're in." So we start, and it's team speed build, and it's weird. Like, I'm not a competitive person. At least I don't think of myself as in that way. It's game on. And we built 2 sets. We built the Scooby Mansion, and then we built the largest Nexo Knights bad guy set, which is one of the 2 Nexo Knights sets I do not own. And we motherfucking crushed it. Like, there's not even any way to keep it on the humble. Like, we just fucking slaughtered these Canadians. Like, it was ridiculous. And it was great. And, like, I felt completely redeemed, and my hangover went away, and I had a fucking great time. And then later that night, second story, we built a Duplo castle. And the Duplo castle's fucking amazing. There's a link to a photo down there. Dude, the homie Aaron, he's like, "Yo, there's a shit ton of Duplo play brick. Let's just build the yellow castle." And he just starts throwing down bricks, and like, it's so alluring, and people just gravitate towards it. So I'm jumping in there, and then all of a sudden, all these other people are jumping in. And like, that was the coolest part of the entire convention. It was hanging out, drinking beer, building a Duplo castle that was like chest high. Had a portcullis. I built the portcullis. Felt very cool about that. It was snotted. And the original goal was to be able to have a functional portcullis and have like small children be able to walk through it. But then the other dudes built a battering ram. So like, entropy happened. And yeah, it was just fucking amazing. So huge shout out to Aaron. Like, the best hospitality ever. Dude fucking gave me this Wolfpack Renegade set, which is fucking priceless. Quite literally priceless. I keep this in a very special spot. It's now encased in glass. It's like fancy, yeah. And yeah, it was fucking great. Like, came home with fucking great Lego. It's crazy because it's taken me so long just to do anything. Like, every night I get home and there's like house projects. Like, just, you gotta toggle bolt fucking 16 things of Lego to the wall. Things like that. And so yeah, it's crazy. I haven't even really unpacked, but like, I started to kind of unpack, and I was like, man, that's fucking awesome. It was such a good time. So fucking shout out to Aaron, shout out to boss girl Nikki. Really, like, I got to kind of meet Aaron's whole scene. It's weird. I feel like that con was a hang first and sort of like an ancillary con, because it was just like me hanging out with Aaron and the homies Dave and Albert and Nikki and like the Victoria scene. Yeah, so it was fucking great. So it was good times. I encourage you guys to go. I don't know if I'm going to go next year, depending on finances and all that, but if I can make it happen, I will be there. And then, yeah, real quick before we get out of here, I did get a bunch of Lego, because, you do. Shout out to the homie Jeff. He got me this official Star Wars set, which is great because I would have never bought this set. And this is awesome, and it has great parts, so it's fucking much appreciated. Also got some collectible minifig nonsense, like the Bad Girls. Funny story about the Bad Girls. So I was really into getting Ursula, and I fucked this up, right? So like, Ursula, you're probably never going to be able to see this, has like the tentacle legs, right? And her torso looks like this. And you stick this on, and this looks normal, right? Yeah, sure. I mean, like, if you're discerning, you're figuring out what's going on. Because I just thought Ursula had a big old booty. Ursula does not have a big old booty. These are boobies. Ursula has a fupa. Like, like no other. Like, are you pregnant, Ursula? What's happening here? So yeah, there's that. And then I paid a premium at Toys R Us to get something silly, which was new and awesome. And it's a volcano set, and it features a new volcano rock that splits laterally in half. It's the same part. It has a stud on the inside, which is pretty cool. I'm digging that. But more importantly, something a little revolutionary in here. So this is one of those things, like, you see the set on the shelves and you're not really thinking about this. Two parts I want to talk about. Rail guard, studs on this side, anti-studs on that side. Takes a clip everywhere, like a champ. Fucking awesome. Super cool. And then also this. Breaking it. Live. Uncut. See that? Oh, yeah, bitches. This is pretty much the opposite of the one with a claw. It takes it somewhere. Hey, there you go. Takes a clip, and then it takes a bar on the other end, which is fucking super cool. So they use it as a roll cage. You get 4 of them in this ridiculous thing. So there you go. You can see they're used as a roll cage. I just love this shit. It's lime. It's apparently volcano hunters, which is bizarre and rad. And fucking all the social justice warriors who yell about Lego being female unfriendly. Who the fuck is in the lava? That's right. Hot bitches. Sure. I guess that's it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. I'm fucking thrilled and shocked and amazed that anybody watches this. Big shout out to Big Sal. He requested I do this episode, so like, this one's for you, homie. Lastly, across from me is this amazing nerd shelf, which I posted on Flickr, but I didn't post the DTOF next to it, which normally on top of sits this. And this is my love of Star Wars. Like, some people think I'm a Star Wars hater. Look at this shit. This is amazing. Shout out to you, Sammy. Alright, boys and girls. I guess that's it. I will see you in the future. We'll do one. Hopefully it's less echoey. Maybe it'll be other people. Maybe I'll actually have original build content to share. Maybe I will be less nasally. Who the fuck knows? Alright. Peace.